In this video, we're going to talk a little bit about CBDCs. A lot of talk about them these days, and also big Ripple partners in Asia making some moves. Let's go.
And now, the XRP Minute with Chip on the chain.
Chip here with the XRP Minute. If it's your first time here, like, subscribe, and click that notification bell. Also, there's a link down below which you can subscribe to as well, and that is our live streams. We broadcast 6 days per week, so go check us out over there. Now let's jump head first into the shallow end for maximum impact, shall we? So saw this article, incredible. Singapore's Pay Now and Thailand's Prompt Pay launch a cross-border payment system. That's interesting. Now, in a global first, Singapore and Thailand have linked their real-time payment systems, Pay Now and Prompt Pay, allowing international fund transfers between the two countries. This is the Bank of Thailand and the Monetary Authority of Singapore. Its new cross-border integration allows international fund transfers within minutes. Interesting. In minutes. Paves the way for a cross-border payment network with other ASEAN countries. And so there's a little pull quote here. It says, "There's no need to populate information fields such as the recipient's full name, bank account details. As with normal remittance solutions, the funds will flow seamlessly and securely between customers' accounts in Thailand and Singapore." It also aims to halve. They're going to take the remittance fees, basically slice them in half, and totally be more transparent when it comes to pricing. This is also a very good move, but look at all the stuff that we are seeing when it comes to cross-border payments. It's really nonstop. Now, if you look at this article here, this was put out on Ripple, how to tap rapid growth in Asia Pacific remittances. And let's just scroll down here a little bit. There it is. Similarly, cash transactions still represent a staggering 90% of Thailand's domestic payment value. In contrast to the Philippines, though, the low-value instant payment rail in Thailand has seen much higher penetration. Prompt Pay, launched in 2017, it reached an average of 4.5 million transactions per day in just under 2 years, and it attracted an impressive 49 million registered users. And I got to think that's been totally dwarfed as a result when this article first was published and came out. The volume of digital payments increased from 83% from 2016 to 2018, and that number's probably been blown away and dwarfed ever since. Then there was this one here, SCB partners with Ripple, and of course this is on the Ripple website as well, extending SCB social or global payment strategy. And if we scroll down a little bit, you can see SCB also partners with startups around the world to provide money transfer services to Thailand with the same Ripple network that harnesses blockchain technology. Payments can instantly transfer, and this is the key thing, instantly transfer, full liquidity, both sides. And when they're talking about linking up these Prompt Pay and Pay Now, they're also talking about the fact that you don't need all that stuff, the routing numbers and all this other stuff. You make a misspelling and, it doesn't work out so well. And it goes on to say they can instantly transfer from around the world through SCB to recipients using this Prompt Pay service at more than 24 Thai banks. Then we've got this. I saw this, dug this old study out. This was by KPMG. This was Cross-Border Payments Interoperability Network Feasibility Study. Okay, now you got to look at when this is done. This was done way back in 2018. So I said, I wonder if we can find Ripple in here anywhere, and started looking around. And of course, here we go. Let's go up here. Look at, there they are. So on the acknowledgements, it says KPMG member firms in Singapore and Thailand. There you go again. And the Monetary Authority of Singapore in association with Banks of Singapore, Thai Bankers Association. And of course, you see Ripple Asia Pacific Limited there. And also here, I wanted to highlight this, says the current cross-border payment market, and I remember 2018, within the ASEAN is fragmented with numerous payment networks, services providers from traditional operators such as Swift, not so Swift, Visa, MasterCard, to new blockchain entrants like Ripple. And obviously they're not new anymore, but it just goes to tells us other players like fintechs and telcos. But again, you can start seeing the kind of penetration that Ripple has, especially over in Asia. It's just massive. Crypto Wizard put this out talking about an SEC closed meeting will be held on May 6th. It was scheduled back on April 29th to discuss settlement injunctive actions and resolutions. Now, Crypto Wizards asserting is interesting. Could it be XRP? But I wanted to scroll down to the screenshot here. And if you look at this, it says institution. This is kind of what they're going to be talking about. And again, this is probably not going to be a closed door. It's going to be some sort of a Zoom, or some sort of a virtual meeting. And they're going to talk about institution and settlement of injunctive actions. Of course, there's been a lot of that going around. Institution and settlement of administrative proceedings. You see what we got here? We got a trend. Resolution of litigation claims. Holy cow. So you have, now it looks like the SEC is going after Volkswagen. And they've library, LRBY, Ripple. I mean, it just never ends. Seems like they're more of an enforcement agency than anything else. And then other matters relating to examinations and enforcement proceedings. So I'm sure some of these things are going to come up, but I'm probably going to talk about the overall strategy. Let's take a look at years it took for companies to be worth 50 billion. As we know, Ripple's worth is a $10 billion company, but we've been hearing a lot of rumors, or I wouldn't say really rumors, but we've been hearing that what happens after this lawsuit with the SEC comes to an end. Does a $10 billion company become a $20 billion? Look at Coca-Cola, 99 years. Samsung, 68 years. MasterCard, 46. Took Apple 29 years. Microsoft, 20. Netflix, 19. PayPal, 18. Tesla, 16. Amazon, 16. And of course, Tether, 2 years. I really don't put Tether in there. I mean, I see what they're trying to say here, but I like to see and look down the road to see what Ripple, they're $10 billion now. I think they would join this club very, very quickly, especially with an IPO. And one of the names that's not on this list that's surpassed, that's worth 60 billion, of course, is Coinbase. And it did not take them more than 10 years to become a $50 billion company. I figure that Ripple will be right there with them. This tweet by CNBC International, Charlie Munger calls Bitcoin disgusting and contrary to the interest of civilization. And Alex Cobb chimed in and said, translation, old guy mad, he didn't buy a magic.com currency. So I thought that was a pretty funny thing and a pretty good assertion. The old guard doesn't quite get this whole Bitcoin. They were like, well, this doesn't make any sense. It's digital. It doesn't make any sense. But at the same time, since 1971, the US dollar doesn't make any sense either. They print it like there's no tomorrow. And, we have inflation going through the roof, but it's not even backed by anything. It's backed by an agreement by a bunch of people that say it's paper and it's worth something, but mostly it's a number and a bank account. It's not too dissimilar, but it does one thing and one thing only. It loses value every day, where cryptocurrencies, XRP, Ether, Bitcoin, they seem to gain some steam. Daily Hodl put this one out. Venture behemoth Andreessen Horowitz targets a $1 billion fund for new crypto investment fund. Now, if you've been following Andreessen, they've had a couple of funds that they've actually put out there. And this is big because if you want to know what Andreessen Horowitz is investing in, they also backed Coinbase, right? So they're not strangers to this world. And they're one of the top dogs in the space. Now, let's take a look. All right, let's see here. Let's see. I sometimes see what happens when what happens with some of these things. There we go. There we go. There we go. So sometimes what they do is when they have all these stories in there, it gets a little bit complicated because it goes to the next one. Venture cap. Andreessen Horowitz reportedly planning to establish a new $1 billion fund geared towards the growing crypto ecosystem. A London-based news outlet we're all familiar with, the Financial Times, cites four nameless people that nobody knows, but there's apparently four people that are familiar with the matter. They say the new fund aims to raise between 800 million to 1 billion to invest in cryptocurrencies. With the target amount, Andreessen's third crypto fund, this one's like going to dwarf it. The last one was about 500 million. This one is going to be $1 billion. And they have obviously big investors in Coinbase worth around 60 billion. And this is going to be amazing. Regulatory filings show that Andreessen has sold close to 120 million of its stake in the crypto exchange since it went public. Do the math. Look at what the stock price is. And close to 120 million. I'm not sure what they're talking about. They're talking about their stake. When they talk about their actual stock in the company, it had to be far more than 120 million. But again, they made money and they did very well on that particular deal. Then we've got this from It's an older story here. The Bank of France likely to prefer XRP over Bitcoin and Ethereum. And I was looking for some other stuff, but again, this I want to highlight this because this shows off very well the Bank of France, looking at XRP, not really looking too much at Bitcoin and Ethereum, though we've heard a lot from those communities about that. This is the Bank of France. This is the Central Bank of France, reportedly discussing XRP and Ripple at the launch of a CBDC. Central banks planning to prefer XRP. Well, there's obvious reasons for that because there was a report that was published by CPA Australia and gained the attention of many central banks around the world because of its efficient network. And it's not really necessarily its efficient network, it's the real-time settlement, right? If you send a payment from bank A to bank B and it goes across in 4 to 5 seconds, it costs very, very little and you have full remittance on both sides because of the on-demand liquidity product. That's really what this is. Not really an efficient network. Yeah, it moves in 4 to 5 seconds, but the real magic here is the on-demand liquidity. And now you're going to see a lot more of this. They also highlight the fact that Ripple announced the idea of having a private network of the XRP ledger. And this kind of came out of that whole thing that happened over in Saudi Arabia, where Saudi Arabia is like, well, we can't really use a public, we got a blockchain, we got to keep our customers private. Think about central banks, centralized. Of course they're going to have that. So Ripple was very wise in rolling this out. Then we have this right here. Now you're wondering, what the heck is that? Well, that is the International Space Station passing in front of the moon at 7.67 kilometers a second, right? Look at that. Now, if you didn't know any better, you'd be thinking that thing be hovering right over the top of the moon. I thought it was cool. We're always talking about the moon shots, when moon. This was cool. Anything moon related, I love to show. It's always a lot of fun. And then here, finally, let's look at this because this highlights something very efficient. And we look at crypto Twitter. Okay, it can be crazy, a cesspool, but I believe there's more value there than anything else. Julian Shapiro says, I've never made a new friend via Facebook. I've never met a business acquaintance from LinkedIn. Twitter, meanwhile, has brought me both. And I can say the same thing of all the Twitter friends and people that I've gotten to know in Twitter DMs that I consider friends. I call them friends. Facebook didn't make me any friends. Facebook were old, high school people or college friends or, old workmates, whatever it might be. And now you have Twitter. It says the surprise of social. People want to meet you based on your thoughts and output. For example, Twitter, it's not based on who you're connected to. That's kind of the old school way of thinking and how things used to be, right? It used to be, who are you connected to? Who do you know? What contacts can I leverage of yours that I can actually get in touch with, right? That's pretty much how it is. But now people want to know, what do you think about? And you put out a thought and bam, someone will jump on you, start attacking you and like, what are you talking about, Chip, about this? And they'll jump all over you. They won't let you, let you die. And other people are like, yeah, right on. That's really everything. But I recommend getting on Twitter. Crypto Twitter can be its own weird animal at times, but I highly recommend getting on there. It's actually a great place to be. That's my take. I want to know your take down below. Like, subscribe, click that notification bell. Click the link below, go over and subscribe to our live channel. That's a lot of fun. You get to engage with Jeff and I when we do live streams, which we do 6 days per week. And that's all I know. Chip out. I'll see you on the next one.
Are you down with OTC? Please like, subscribe, and click the bell to be notified when the next video drops.